Migration policy in this country has been disgraceful for quite some time, and this latest data shows just how it is now smashing opportunities for everyday Australians. In essence, the government has put university profits and providing that backdoor entry to more than 1.75 million migrants, many without skills, over Aussies being able to afford a roof over their head. Now, government loves migration because it props up their economic headline figures, but on a per capita basis, it's actually putting a lot of us in a worse position, both financially and in terms of a quality of life. The migration policy in this country has been disgraceful for quite some time, and this latest data shows just how it is now smashing opportunities for everyday Australians. Well, joining me to have a chat about this is IPA Research Fellow Saxon Davidson. Saxon, thanks for your time, mate. Given the widely recognised housing crisis, do you reckon the government is doing Aussies a disservice persisting with such high immigration rates?
The government is doing Australians a great disservice on two fronts. It is causing one problem by trying to solve another, which is worker shortages, which I'll get to in a minute, and it is also exacerbating housing shortages. As you mentioned earlier, this proposed 1.7 million Australians over the next 5 years will create a housing shortage of about over 250,000 homes. And of those migrants, the international students among them are taking up, in the last financial year just passed, 70% on average nationwide of the homes that are being supplied to the labour market, leaving just, to the housing market, excuse me, leaving just 30% for everyday Australians who are trying to enter the housing market and every other migrant who's also entered the country.
But Saxon, we see in some cities where they're taking up all the new stock plus some of the existing stock, and it's leaving a lot of Aussies unable to find affordable accommodation. And when you couple it with some of the government's policies, state government policies, like in your state of Victoria, they're driving housing investors out, which makes even less available for rent. This is a catastrophe that's heading for a lot of Australians, isn't it?
Absolutely. And there is a lot of appetite electorally at the moment for a change in Australia's migration policy. We released some polling just in May about Australians' attitude towards migration and infrastructure at the moment, and 60% of the respondents said that they wanted migration paused, not like reduced, but paused, like capped until infrastructure can catch up. There was similar polling recently also from The Guardian and the Sydney Morning Herald, which came up with almost the exact same results, with The Guardian showing 59% and the Sydney Morning Herald showing 60% of Australians wants migration paused.
But it's just an example of how the government spends our money.
That is what it is. So, yep.